Hey guys, welcome to Liner House Live. I am Stefan Liner.
I'm Miles Rice.
Guys, we got a lot of stuff going on per usual. One of the things that we wanted to talk about today are our mini movies. These are basically you're taking the beats from a feature-length movie and you're compressing them down into under 10 minutes. So you're trying to take all of these necessary beats that tell a good story, and you're just trying to find the heart of them and compress them down. And so that's something that we've been doing lately. We've got two in the can, and we've got one that we're shooting in June. So we're really trying to do like one of these like every month, at least having one release every month. The one that we just shot, Miles or not just shot, but are getting ready to release later today, is Love and Faith. Miles was the leading man, and Madison Garris was the leading lady, and she is one of the characters that we have in When Fact Met Fiction, our other web series. So it was really fun to kind of get back together. I don't know, I hadn't worked with her since When Fact Met Fiction. I don't know if you had, but it was really fun to get to see her. But that's what we want to talk about today. We want to talk about mini movies and get in a little bit into Love and Faith. Miles, something that we talk about all the time is as being necessary for a story, is it having a beginning, middle, and end.
Right.
What are you looking for as like a filmmaker, right? What are those elements that make a beginning, middle, and end?
Well, it could be several things, but I think the first thing that comes to mind, just going through a script that we've been developing for our next one, is that we actually condensed it from a larger short. It was probably 20, 30 pages.
Right. Yeah.
And then condensed it down to 9. And I was going through it, and it felt like it was like there was a bigger picture here. And so what needs to happen when you're doing something kind of like that, to make sure there's a beginning, middle, and end, and you're not left with, well, where's it going next? You can kind of put a nice little bow on it. Is you immediately, which we do in the short that we have, is they've lost something or there's something at stake.
It's always,
you're not searching
what's at stake.
Yeah, it's in the beginning. You need to know what your main character is after or is like,
right, that journey that they are getting ready to go on.
And so you have to have a launching pad for them, and that's kind of the catalyst to allowing yourself to have a middle and an end. Because if you don't have something at stake,
if you don't have something launch, then you don't have like the crux of a journey, and then you have nothing to resolve. So
whereas and where I was going with that is in the bigger arc story, it got there. It got to what was at stake, but within what we had in the condensed version wasn't until the very end.
Right. So you had your the what's at stake moment realization didn't happen until pretty much the same time as the climax. So it was like, oh, here's a realization of what's at stake, and then boom, we're at the kind of the climax right before the cool down. And so you want to have enough time, and that's, I think, the interesting part about taking an idea, a story with a beginning, middle, and end, and trying to get it to fit within 10 minutes. You almost have to pace yourself out. Be like, okay, I only have 3 minutes to set this up. And then I've got, you have
to be
4
moving
minutes,
like every 2.5, 3 pages. To the next act.
So that's kind of the structure. When we say mini movie, we really are trying to take a whole idea of a story and have a beginning, middle, and end, have the whole story. Another part is looking at it and finding the iconic beats, because what we do is we'll take a genre. We'll take a genre of movie and say, all right, we're going to take Love and Faith, for example. We're going to take a faith-based romance or a faith-based rom-com, and we're going to try and find those iconic beats that most of these movies have. And so that's another part, like the one you're working on right now is like a film noir based. So you're looking at it as a writer or as a creator saying, okay, what does this genre always have? So those are other things that you're trying to identify. And then for us, I think what makes it mini is we're trying to keep them under 10 minutes. And that can be challenging. I think for any storyteller, being concise.
Not only keep them under 10 minutes, it's shoot them in one day.
Right.
So
yeah,
we
absolutely.
We
that is extremely challenging.
Putting some pressure on ourselves, but we're learning a lot of things of where we can cut corners and where we can't cut corners.
Yeah.
And so it's when you're already bare bones, it can be a challenge.
It's really good because one of, When Fact Met Fiction, it's kind of our show horse right now. It's the one that we've spent the most money on and everything. We're in our second season. We're editing it right now, and it's looking really awesome. But we had a full crew, or at least a decent sized crew. Everybody got a paycheck. I mean, it wasn't astronomical amounts of money, but still, people were being paid, and with that comes a certain level of quality and expertise. And when you're doing these kind of mini movies and you're running gun, you don't have that same support system that you do. And so I don't know. I think it's for us, the mini movies are as much as just staying sharp as storytellers. It's like, yeah, there's going to be issues. There's going to be lighting issues. There's going to be time issues. There's going to be personnel issues. There's going to be lots of issues, but it's not really about that. It's about, okay, how do we stay sharp as storytellers? How do we keep getting better at this craft and not really getting waylaid by, oh, I don't have this or I don't have that, because those are just excuses. Yeah. And if you let those excuses keep you from doing something, then you're going to end up at the end of the year and be like, oh, yeah, I had all these great ideas, but I never did them because I didn't have the right equipment or, whatever. And so it's just our way of challenging ourselves to say, you know what? Yeah, you don't have all the things that you want to do this, but just go do it. Stay sharp, be storytellers, because you're not a storyteller if you're not telling stories.
Right. And definitely something that I think we learned on the last one that we wish we had done is, just as an example of what we're learning, is we should have probably rehearsed.
Oh yeah,
right. And because we were getting there on the day, and we were having to block some things out. Granted, we hadn't been in the space with them, but looking back on it, we should have just taken that time and done that. And if we're going to, we can take those times, and that's going to allow us to move more quickly.
Absolutely. And that's the cool thing about doing these is, like, you get in it, you get in the situation, you're like, oh, we could totally make this better if we did, blah, or whatever. And it's like helping us, I think, add to kind of just our own procedure as storytellers. Like, this is the stuff that we always do because it's going to help us tell a better story. So that's kind of in a nutshell what mini movies are. We're really excited about them. Like I said, we're going to try and get like one out a month if we can keep that pacing up. They're really fun. But I want to talk about Love and Faith in particular. We're going to be dropping this hopefully by the end of today. It's been edited. It's ready to go. We just need to shoot the end screen and the opening and all that kind of stuff. So be looking for that. But this one is a faith-based romance. Actually came up with this idea off of our other show, Would You See It? It was one of the ideas that we came up with off of a poster for, I think, Something New. And so this one is faith-based rom-com all the way. I have the synopsis here. I'll read it for you guys. It says, a worn-out pop star, Jack Love, returns home from a tour to visit family when his childhood friend asks him to help with his church choir. He meets Faith Johnson, a woman with a painful past. As Jack works with the choir and Faith, he and Faith grow closer. Just when Faith feels her life may be worth something, Jack is called away by his producer. Will Jack keep his word and make it back in time for the concert? So it's like this quintessential kind of love is at stake, type of romance, but it's got a faith-based twist. And so, yeah, and so obviously we're trying to figure out, all right, what are the beats of like this? I think we all know the beats of romance, but we're kind of taking it on a new journey for the faith-based romance. And so I think it's pretty much there. It's like quintessential. You guys will see it. I hope you love it, but it's kind of this quintessential faith-based rom-com. Miles actually came up with this totally wacky character. And it was really fun. I've been watching it over and over because I've been doing the finalizing on it, and the character's really fun. Why don't you tell them kind of like how you came up with this leading male character? It's a little unconventional for a faith-based, so we did take some liberties. With breaking the mold a little bit, but the character is really, really fun. So where'd you come up with this character?
Well, initially I started I was just doing a Nick Cage impersonation.
Yeah.
And Robin was like, "No, we're not doing that." And I was like, "Oh, it'll be fun." And then I said something back to her in a Christopher Walken voice, and she was like, "Oh, do that." And
he does an awesome Christopher Walken impersonation.
I'll save that for a rainy day. But so she was like, "Do that, but tame it." And I was like, "Okay, I can do that." And so you might be able to pick it out in the beginning because we did shoot it out of order. You might be able to pick out the spot in which the first shot where I did start doing it, and then later on I kind of tried to mold it and let it be its own voice where it wasn't so Christopher Walken-esque.
It's like a Christopher Walken hybrid of something else. Not really sure what the something else is. It's kind of, no, I mean, Christopher Walken is he from the north? Is he from up north? Okay, so yeah, it definitely has a northern sound to it. But yeah, definitely a hint of Christopher Walken. I think my favorite line though is Faith. It's beautiful. He's beautiful. He walks into the doorway as Faith is leaving, and he just drops her name, and it's just this icon. I think it's iconic. It's Faith.
It's almost,
and she turns in this kind of harlequin.
Tommy was so bad. It's oh hi dog, oh hi doggy, oh hi Mark.
It's awesome. And then Bryan. He's great in this. Bryan is a longtime friend of Miles. I'm just getting to know him over the last, I guess, 3 months or so, and just really fallen in love with this dude. He is just hilarious. He's so subtle. Mm-hmm. He is so subtle in his delivery. I think my favorite scene with him is actually when Bubba, my character, just shows up, and I want to join the choir, but my sister Alice doesn't want me to join the choir. And Neil, Bryan Miller's character, kind of insists on Alice letting me join the choir. And at that point, Bryan, who plays Neil, realizes that they're in some real trouble, and that's when they need to call Jack Love and bring in the heavy artillery, the backup, to make this concert work. And he's got this line where his wife hands him the phone, and I don't know, I think this was an accident, but supposedly he's calling Jack, but there is no time for the ring. He just like, "I'll call him." And right when the phone hits his ear, he says, "Jack, we need your help." Like, there was no time for ringing, but I loved it. I was like, just.
And that might go over everybody's heads, but that's Bryan's sense of humor. I mean, he just
it was so beautiful,
beyond subtle.
There are so many places in this short that have just rewatch value. You just want to go back and be like, wait, what happened? And the possum, he totally made that up.
Yeah,
the 20-pound possum and the AC ducks, just look for all of the gems. Just pay attention to Bryan Miller.
And the irony in that is really fun. It's really good irony.
And the thing is, there is a hole in the ceiling right there.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's where he got that from. But anyway, it's gonna be really fun. There's a lot of cool stuff, and we look forward to making these, and just hearing from you guys as well as what genres you would like us to turn into a Liner House mini movie. Let's see. Mom's on. Tell them about the musical break in the kitchen. Wait, are you talking about
The montage?
are you
Or
talking about the montage?
Are you talking about the love at first sight thing?
Oh, the part where they're singing together? Is that what you're talking about?
No, to which one?
The musical. Hey, Mom, let us know if it's the part where they're singing together or if it's the montage. Because they actually, there's a place where they meet for the first time, and you have the whole doorway where you're leaning against the doorway. And then there's a place where there's a montage, and they're kind of, you know, having that very, very stereotypical rom-com montage moment where the music stops for 2 seconds. Oh, okay. So in the edit, what happens is you're kind of having this first, I don't know if you've even seen this yet. You're having this kind of talk with Faith, right? And she's like, nobody wants me to be in the choir and all that kind of stuff. And you're just very on the nose lines where it's like, maybe you're here for such a time as this. It's like all these cliche lines, right? So they're all in that scene. But what he says, or what she says, is something along the lines of, my mom has been in rehab, my dad's been in prison, you know, nobody wants me. And then you say, well, if you put it that way, then yeah. And then the music, what I did in the edit was, there's a music bed under this conversation. It's kind of a sappy music bed. And it stops right when you say that. It goes to her, and she goes like, "What?" And I have the music stop for dramatic effect, and it's pretty funny. But it was hard as the editor to make that decision, to be like, all right, is this too on the nose? Does this break the mold of of this kind of like faith-based rom-com, or does it still fit? And I think it's still to be decided, but I really liked it. I thought it was a funny kind of comedic choice.
I mean, it just embraces the way I played it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it. I think it works.
I did it on purpose.
Yeah, but it's fun. So let us know. Let us know if it works. If you like it. That's the fun part. Is just kind of like experimenting with some of this stuff and seeing what works and what doesn't. But yeah. So that's Love and Faith. Let's see here. Yeah, hitting the beats. Yeah, and so obviously these mini movies do have like a lot of challenges. The one thing, I think the biggest challenge is time. You know, so Love and Faith, I think we shot in like 6 hours, and that's ridiculous. I mean, that's 45. We did like 45 something shots in 6 hours. That is really, if you have any kind of experience in film or anything like that, that's really, really hustling. So I really hope that people understand that when they see this. Like, this is obviously not our best. This is not our best work, and we aren't like pretending like we think it is. There's a lot
of on my acting side.
There, right. I mean, and see, that's the thing. Like, as an actor, you're looking at it and you're like, as a DP, as a producer, it's for me, it's very challenging. It's very humbling, you know, to be able to put something out there that you're like, but it's also to look at it as a challenge and realize, hey, we're getting out there, we're having fun, we're telling a story, and we're doing it with really, really like tight time schedules, limited resources, and we're trying to fit all of this into minutes. Like, I'm proud of that. I'm proud that we were able to do the story within the amount of time. So that is cool, but definitely lots of room to grow. Let's see. So yeah, that's mini movies. Let's see. Yeah, and I wanted to close on this. You know, obviously you can be perfectionist. I think as an actor, you're always wanting to give your best, right? You're always want to put good work out there. Same thing as a producer or a director or a DP. But I think we can get to these places where we just make excuses, where we don't do things because we're so afraid of something not being perfect. I don't know if you can talk to that at all.
Well, it's pretty fitting because Casey Neistat actually just made a video called "No Excuses," and he interviewed a friend of his who was in Fury Road. If you remember, he was he is he has dwarfism and brittle bones disease, and he was in Mad Max. He's been in tons of movies. He's a producer in Hollywood.
So definitely, we would see he's at a disadvantage, but he's not letting that stop him.
No, he's not. He only has obstacles. We only have obstacles.
That's cool.
And that's what Casey Neistat's video is about. We only have obstacles. We don't have excuses.
Yeah, and that's really what I wanted to close on. You know, is the fact that we're not able to get the lighting the way we want it 100% of the time. We're not able to get the audio the way we want it all the time on these mini movies, just because we're hustling. But not being able to do that, I'm just convinced to not let that stop me from doing something, from creating. And I just want to encourage any filmmaker out there that is watching this, that do not be scared. Do not be scared of failure. You are going to do things that you know you could do better, but do not stop. Just keep going and learn. Learn from every time that you're like, oh, you know, that wasn't the best it could be or whatever. Just remember it. Take that with you to your next experience. But just go create. Don't be worried about mistakes.
Because you don't learn from your successes. You learn from your failures.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
And successful people are successful because they failed.
Yeah.
They're willing to not make excuses, tackle their obstacles, and fall flat on their faces, pick themselves back up, and keep going.
Yeah. So take that as an encouragement. If you're at a place where you're like, oh, I want to do something, but I just don't have this or this or this, don't worry about it. Just take whatever you do have, whatever time you have, whatever friends you have, whatever equipment you have, and just go do it and start.
I mean, you don't need a big fancy. I mean, we shoot with a C100, but you don't need that. You can shoot it with your phone.
Do it with your phone.
I mean, half the phones out now have 4K, and you don't even need that 1080p. That's the majority of everybody on YouTube. That's all they can view it at.
Yeah.
So.
And this is a shout out for Pixel.
No, this is not. I just got this.
Miles got a new phone that we're all jealous of.
I don't know. I'm still figuring out if I like it because I've been an iPhone user. So we'll see.
Well, cool. Well, guys, thank you so much. We are super excited about bringing more mini movies. Keep your eye out for Love and Faith. Hopefully, it's going to be dropping today. So go watch that. Just some homework for you guys. First of all, thank you so much for tuning in, for watching this. If you've watched it live, if you're watching it post live, thank you so much for your support. Share Love and Faith with your friends. If you know someone that likes Hallmark style movies, that likes rom-coms, share this with them, because I really think that they are going to love it. And then comment below. Let us know what genres you would like us to turn into, what genres of movies you would like us to turn into a Liner House mini movie, and we will put that on the list and see when we can get it in, because it's great experience for us and it's a lot of fun. Yep. So, all right, guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Later.